Okay, we're going to start literally by opening up Google Chrome. So the process of this is purely so that we can install some applications. So I'm just going to accept all the stuff because it's fresh install of Google Chrome. Right, so this basically is a Windows 11 with the only application I've installed is Google Chrome. I haven't added any extra applications or anything else. So the first step here is to search for Chocolately. And say Chocolately install. And if we have a look, it says installing Chocolately. So we can click on that. If we scroll down, ignore step 1, ignore step 2. This is the part what we want. We want to copy this line here. So let's click on the little copy button there. Now what I want to do is go to the start menu, just right click on the start menu and click on terminal admin and say yes. So this is going to open up a PowerShell in the terminal with admin privileges. So all we need to do now is right click to paste what we got from that website. If we have a look, set execution policy bypass. So it's just saying we can run scripts. Then this thing here is going to download the actual installer from the Chocolately website and run it. So I just need to press enter. Now it's going in, it's downloading the thing. And then once it's downloaded, it'll install it and set it all up. Now that it's set up, we're back at the prompt again. So that's it. That's now got Chocolately installed on the system. To have the environmental variables sort of update for this, we need to actually close our terminal again. And then we can do the same again, right click, terminal admin, yes. And now we should be able to use Choco, which is the actual executable for Chocolately to install things. So if we wanted to install a specific thing, we can do Choco install the specific package, whatever it is, space -y, and that will install the actual specific thing on our system. Now we can search for different packages directly on the Chocolately site. So if I go Chocolately packages, we've got a Chocolately software packages area here. I'll be linking those in the description anyway. So we now have about 9,000 plus packages that we can install. So let's start taking a look for packages. Let's say Visual Studio Code. And if you notice, we now have Visual Studio Code. Now we can either copy that, which is exactly the, the installer, Choco install vscode, or we can use this little green plus button to add it to a list of things to install in a moment. So we're going to use this plus button. We click the plus. Notice how we've got this builder. It's added that to a list of things to be able to generate a script for. So we want a list of things to do. So we've got this Visual Studio Code. We also want Python. So there's Python 3.12. That's fine. So we'll click the green plus button. What else do we want? We want nodejs as well. Let's have a look what we got. Nodejs 21. No. I want the long-term service release. So here it is, Node.js LTS. You always want to go for the LTS version if you can help it. So we'll press the plus here. If you take a look at your builder, you'll notice that we now have 3 items in there. We can continue on and add more items. So we've got Node.js, we've got Python, and we've got VS Code. We also want Git. And there's Git. So we press the plus button. Let's think, what else do we want? We want Zoom. To do Zoom calls. Zoom client for meetings. So we literally just press the plus there. We want gitkraken. And this is a visual Git tool to connect to your actual GitHub and stuff. What else do we want? We want insomnia. Now, the two different insomnias. There's insomnia native, which is actually a thing that just keeps your computer from going to sleep. We don't particularly want that right now. What we want is this one here, the other insomnia. This is actually an API sort of REST client sort of thing. We'll get into that as we're using it. So for now, we'll just know that we want that particular thing. Let's think what else. Another useful thing is http, which is a command line version of what we'd be using insomnia for. So we want to not have to use the GUI. We have the ability to use a command line. So we just press the plus on that. The other thing, I don't know whether they'll have, but I'll try and find it. Tiled and see if they've got it. And they do, the tiled map edits. So we don't even have to literally go off and try and look for that. That's there. So we can press the plus. And again, anything else you want to install, you can always just add to that. For now, that should be enough for us to get started. At some point, it might be nice to have Visual Studio and a load of other stuff. One thing we might want, if we're going to do any Python coding, would be something like PyCharm. But for now, we'll get away with just using vscode for everything. So we now have this builder with a list of things. We can now click on Generate Script, which will generate a script with all these things. If you've got an extra thing that you don't want, you can always click on the minus here. But for now, we've got everything we want. We click the next. Individually is how we want to do it. So next. It now gives us option 1, copy all that and just paste it in the thing. Option 2 is a little bit cleaner. So let's save the config file. So we'll go down here and click on Save Config File. Notice how now it's downloaded this package.config. If I open the folder, we can see this is in the Downloads folder. If I right click and let's say Open with Notepad, just this once for now. As you can see, it's just like an XML file with a bunch of packages here. That's all there is there. Look, it's just the packages and their versions. So this is a file that Chocolately actually reads in and just goes through and installs individually each one of these things. So our next step is going to be going into our admin terminal here and typing in CD space downloads. Now, if we do an ls, we'll see that inside our downloads, we should have packages.config. At this point, we can do a Choco install packages.config. So it's /packages.config space -y. So that's saying just say yes to everything. And we press enter. At this point, it's going to list all the things it's going to install, which is VS Code, Python, Node.js LTS, Git Zoom, gitkraken, Insomnia, HTTP, and Tiled. And then it'll start setting up and installing them. At this point, I would advise you to go off and make a cup of tea, cup of coffee, beverage of your choice, and then come back to everything being installed. I'm going to just pause here and let it do the installs, and we'll be back in a moment. Okay, that's finished, but I did get one error. It looks like the current version of HTTP was not working, as in the install. So we'll miss that out from your setup. So quickly, just to miss that out from the setup, all we need to do is go down to where HTTP is, press the little minus here. Now it's gone. We then run through the generate script process again. Save config. And I've saying I've got a -1 or a what's it one. But you just do that instead of the other one. Again, same if you want to add or remove any stuff at all. Same sort of concept. So now that we've got all those things, if you look at our start menu, we've got like Git, we've got gitkraken, we've got Zoom, go to like all programs, which have pretty much all the things that we installed. We've got Insomnia there, Node.js, Python, tiled, vscode. So we got all of the things that we kind of wanted to install other than HTTP, but we can get away without that if we've got the Insomnia thing, to be honest. So that's basically it. We now have our starting position of tooling. We could add a few more things. For instance, in Visual Studio Code, if we run that, we can choose like dark mode or wherever we want. But also we can kind of add these extensions. We're probably going to want a Python extension. So we'll install the Python extension then. Notice it's installing. Probably another one might be React. ES7 React, this one here. So we want to install that. ES7 plus React Redux, React Native. Sorry about that. Right. There's probably a few others we could install along the way, but we'll get to those as we go. In fact, one that I think of right now is Live Server. That's it, that one there, Live Server. So we'll click install that. This allows us to kind of have our own local live web browser, web server installed. So once all of those have been installed, then we're pretty much good. There's a few other ones as we go. We'll probably think of other things as we go, but that's fine to start with. Let's make sure that we have Git and stuff available to us. So I'm going to close the terminal. I'm going to open the terminal again. This time I'll just say terminal without the admin. I don't necessarily need the admin right now. Now I'll type in Git to make sure it's available. Yeah. Okay, so we've got the Git tools all available to us. So that's good. So now that we've technically got that done, we can close Visual Studio Code. We can close that off, close all our tabs out. Let's have a look. Make sure the things run. So I'm going to like run tiled. It looks like it's running fine. That's good. Run Insomnia. That's another one. So looks like it's running fine. What's that? I'll run Zoom. There we go. So at some point you want to sign up to Zoom and kind of set it up and that, but we'll get to that at some point. So I think we should be good to go. I mean, we can test that Python and stuff are working as well. So again, terminal. Let's try Python and see what happens. It looks like it's got it. Works, great, quit. Node.js. Oh, sorry. Node even. So we got Node. So that works fine. I just done Control D to exit. So now we have Node.js, we've got Python, we've got the other tools that we were expecting to install. I think that'll do for this one. I'll be making other ones, other videos of more process and what we do as we move forward.